This is Work It Remote, a community for women working remotely. I'm your host, Erica Bergen, and on this podcast, we get real about remote work and how to make it work for you. Enjoy the episode. Rebecca, welcome to Work It Remote.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you here. You're my friend. You're my hype woman when I need it most.
Woo!
And you're also an accomplished opera singer.
I am.
And a successful entrepreneur and makeup artist.
Yes.
And that last part is what we're here to talk about today.
Awesome.
And we met each other and we were going through similar experiences, right? This was a couple months before the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And we had both gone through a tremendous amount of change. And even though our stories were different, there was so much shared experience that when we started to talk, it was like we couldn't stop talking because there were so many things that we connected with and on with each other's stories, right?
Yes.
And so we helped each other through that time.
Help is putting it lightly.
Yes. We're a lifeboat to one another. Yes.
Yes.
So one of the ways, and I'm getting into the makeup artistry here.
Okay.
One of the ways that you helped me, and I think of it as almost like a pre-Rebecca and a post-Rebecca, is because we had a family photo shoot in the fall of 2020. And I don't think I asked for you to be, because I didn't even think to ask you for that because it felt like too much to ask. You were like, okay, I'm going to do your makeup. And I said, okay, that sounds great. And I was in a rut at that time because it was pandemic. The pandemic had turned me into a work at home mom, not a stay at home mom, a work at home mom unexpectedly. Yeah. And I had a uniform every day. It was leggings and sweatpants and sneakers and no makeup and ponytail and the whole thing. Yes. And I remember sitting in your chair and you did my makeup and I looked in the mirror and I was so happy. And it was like I saw myself again. Yeah. And I remember feeling a little bit more like myself. And after that, I started to make more of an effort to get closer and closer back to who I knew that I was inside, but I had lost because of there was so much going on at that time. Yes. Right. And so that's what I think the beautiful gift that you give through your makeup artistry is that it's not a one size fits all. It's not you're here to look like this person or that person. You brought me back to myself. I looked in the mirror and I looked like me, the real me.
Yes.
The best version of me.
Yes. I will never, ever forget. And that's actually one of my favorite moments about my job. I will never for as long. You and I have shared so many moments and through some really great times, but some really difficult times in our lives. Yeah. But I will never, ever forget the moment when I had finished your makeup right before the photo shoot and you saw yourself. Because
you saw it too.
I saw it.
You saw me see it. Okay.
I saw you see yourself. And I don't mean see yourself with lipstick and eyeshadow on. That's not the self we're talking about.
No.
It is.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah. And that for me was like, okay, much about my job is about just empowering a woman to face the day or face the occasion with whatever it is she's got to do. So, and I often, I do not do makeovers. I give you the face to match the occasion. And I also, in the process, get you ready for it emotionally. And part of what we do is like, yeah, the lipstick is the icing on the cake, but how are you going to show up for Erica? And me seeing you see yourself in that mirror was like, now this is why I continue to do what I do.
Yes, it was definitely a spark that I felt. And that's what we're gonna dive into today. We're talking to women who are working remotely. Okay. So it's how do you make sure that you are showing up your best? If makeup is your thing, how are you showing up your best at work in front of the camera? Like what you said, to feel good, to look good, to be in touch with yourself, because how are you going to be able to deliver to your team and on your work products and to all the different things you have to do during the day if you don't even feel confident in how you show up that day?
Right.
And, I would say that I'm not really a makeup person, But I think part of what we say or what we mean when we say we're not makeup people is that we don't really understand how to use makeup, or we're intimidated by makeup. So I think what you do too, and what we're going to talk about today, is how to help people feel a little like it's a little more approachable.
Yeah.
Right.
When I'm teaching women, right? So I teach other makeup artists who want to be in the business, in the profession, but that's not what this is. When I'm teaching women, I'm like regular women that are not in my profession. I'm teaching them how to be their own makeup artist and what that looks like. To me, to make it more approachable, we're teaching like tips and tricks and products that are going to work for you no matter what, but that are easy to use. There's a time and a place to hire me. And then there's when you don't need me. And so one of the best parts about my job is teaching you how not to need me. And so like, how do you show up on camera? That's one of the things when we switch to, okay, now everybody's working remotely. And now there is this work remote culture. You're on camera and like, we're literally staring at ourselves right now. And we're like, and we can
I'm trying not to. I'm
yeah.
It's like I got the blinders on. No peripheral vision.
Exactly. Don't look over here.
Don't.
Stay focused. But people are looking at us. And so it's about just enhancing your best features, but with an ease of use so that you show up really confidently on camera. That's really it.
Let's dig into that a little bit. So we got a camera.
Okay.
It's showing you. How does it show differently, the camera, than in person? I mean, my instinct is that I do show up differently on camera. And I've noticed on some platforms like Google Meet, for example, I show up as my real self, my real authentic, everything is everything on Google Meet. But then you have other platforms that have a little bit of a filter on them, right? So how do you think about, or how do you teach people to think about the screen?
First of all, when HD, like filming and cameras hit the screen, the most unforgiving, because it was like, we're laying it all bare, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this notion of, okay, filters versus unfiltered. And you want to kind of like meet in the middle, right? Find that happy medium, because a filter can make you look like someone that you're not. And then so it's that notion of like, when people show up and see you in person, they want to see and meet the person that they see on camera as well. So it's about bridging that gap. Makeup can be super simple, anything simple. I mean, the easiest things I think people can do is throw on a coat of mascara, a little concealer under the eye, and then a lip. That's like super it. Now, if you are me, I'm throwing on brows because I look like I have the flu if I don't. So it's sort of,
I feel like brows frame your face.
They do. They are the frame of the face, and some people have it naturally and some people don't. But you kind of have to pick those 2 or 3 things that matter to you. And I always start with the conversation. I never want to put it on anybody else, like what matters, because what matters to you about you may be different than what I see. And so I'm always very careful, because we're already insecure as women, right? And trying to just show up and be all the things. Mm-hmm. And so we don't need someone else making an issue out of something that wasn't an issue for them. Right. So I always start with a conversation. Okay. So, and then we just pick 1, 2, or 3 things that make a really big impact. Listen, some days I'm showing up and I'm like, hey guys, I'm having a bad day and didn't have time to do my brows. So I'll throw on a quick pair of glasses, and it can like completely change the look, and a lip. But also then if I need to take off my glasses too, what are the things that matter to me? And for me, it's my brows.
Okay. So, yeah, I've done that trick before. I have a headband here that I use. I was going to wear it, but it's hard with the headphones.
With your headphones.
But I try to distract people from my face if I haven't had a chance to get to it. It's like,
absolutely.
Just look at this headband.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would throw on a pair of readers in a minute, but then when you take the glasses off, as like I just did, then what's left? And so for me, it's going to be super simple. Always brows, a little bit of mascara, a little bit of cheek, and a lip. And that's 4 things right there that make a big, like I'm not even wearing foundation today.
Oh, okay. Well, you have great skin.
Now, and that's another conversation, honey, for a different day. The real money needs to be spent in your skincare, and I'm a stickler for it.
Yeah. Okay. So I knew we were going to do this. And so I knew that we were going to we're going to get into a little bit of a tutorial with me as the student in a minute.
Student. Awesome.
So I did a K beauty mask last night to try. Yes, to try.
Good job.
Try to get my skin right.
Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with that more. Skin. All right. So remote working women, you said a couple of things. 3 things is the most. Now, what about somebody who is more makeup inclined? How would you go about approaching or consulting them to change up? Should they put on more when they're on camera?
So there is this notion, right? Like pictures, when you're at a wedding, there's this notion that, okay, people are like, oh my God, that like seems like a lot of makeup to have on. So again, as we talked about that happy medium between like the filter on certain cameras and not a filter, it is finding that balance between not frightening people in person and then wanting to show up. So the camera takes about 10% off, if I'm being honest, right? A professional camera. And so what we mean by that is it can diminish your natural features. So foundation, if we think about it like that, is an eraser, right? It is giving you this sort of very smooth canvas. And so then what we want to do from that point is put the dimension back in the face, because some people use foundation for, hiding a blemish or concealing an error.
That's how I thought of it.
Yeah.
Or taking away shine.
Or taking away, yeah. But for people that are into makeup, they are using makeup for fun and to create an effect in the skin. They're using foundation to create an effect in the skin. So for that person that's like, yeah, I am about my foundation and I'm going to wear more coverage. What we want to do then for the screen is put dimension back in the face. And how we do that is with a cheek, some bronzer, always brows, and definitely a lip. For me, and this is just me, if you think about it like this, eyeshadow, it's secondary. So think about it like this. So if you started your makeup with a bunch of eyeshadow and then received a phone call, an emergency, you had to go pick up your kids from school. You had to leave your workstation, go pick up your kids from school, and you just had like a smoky eye on and nothing else, and you had not addressed the skin, you are going to look like the crazy mom at school picking up your kids. Whereas, so for me,
with a black eye,
like how did you get that black eye? Because you didn't have time to like do the other stuff around it that's important. So I would argue that the skin, foundation, concealer, and cheek and lip are more important before you ever even touch the eyes. Now, if you have the time to like do the whole shebang, absolutely. But if we're talking about like working remote and what is most important, it is the skin, cheek, lip, little bit of mascara. Then you can get into things like eyeshadow and eyeliner if you've got the time to do it.
Okay.
Now, this is just a Rebecca school of thought. In the end, the order of importance, like for real, is whatever makes you feel the best. Mm-hmm. And if it is, my sister cannot stand wearing eyeliner. If you see her like putting on eyeliner, she really gives a damn that day, okay? But she can't stand it. She just doesn't like the way she looks in it. So guess what? She doesn't wear it. She doesn't feel good in eyeliner. So I say, own that. She's going to put on, eyeshadow and mascara, a cheek and a lip, and she's keeping it moving. But that's her thing. It's how she feels about it.
So how do you cover blemishes?
Okay, so most people think, oh, let me get a concealer. That'll cover blemishes, right? Because it conceals things, but that's not what concealer in makeup world is meant to do. Concealers are highlighters by nature, which means everything they touch, they highlight. So if you go at your blemish with a concealer that is like not skin tone correct to where the blemish is, it is going to highlight that blemish. So you have to do it with a color corrector or a foundation that's skin tone correct. Okay. But these are things that like the average person is not meant to know. This is something that you come to me and you're like, all right, Bex, I have this issue. And then I'm going to like teach you the tip and the trick to deal with the issue that you have.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah. I was asking because I ran into this recently I started a new retinol.
Yeah.
And the last one, my skin had gotten used to. And so I had started out slow and then gradually progressed how many times I used it over the course of the week. Well, I forgot that there was a progression process. So when I started this new, stronger retinol, I just went all in every night And then I started getting blemishes on my skin. I was like, what am I doing differently? And I realized, so I scaled back and my skin has calmed down. But there were a couple of days where I had all these bumps on my forehead and I was trying to figure out, when, especially when you're on camera, it's very, you know, in person, it's intimidating, but it can be, I don't know, because your whole face is on the screen. It can be very intimidating to know that you have something on your face. And you don't want, you could say you have the option of turning off your camera, but that's really not the way you want to conduct business when you're working remote. It really isn't the option. So that's where that question came from.
If that ever happens, right, that's a specified. So the first thing is hydrate your skin really well with whatever you can find. Most people are going to be like, oh my God, retinol like dogged my skin. And now what do? Most people are like, oh my God, let me grab a concealer and like, let's just try to figure it out. But what will happen is like retinol dries the skin out. So the best thing you want to do in that instance is obviously curtail, you know, the use of the retinol. So once you do that, and then you're like, oh God, but I got to be on camera. What do? Hydrate your skin really well with like your most hydrating moisturizer that you have, and then go at the skin with your skin tone correct foundation, not a concealer, because you don't want to highlight that area. You really want to, and honestly, you can't take the bump away. You just want to take the redness down and the appearance of inflammation. And then past that, let it ride.
How do you feel about hydrocortisone on a bump like that?
Okay, I am not a doctor. Let's just put this disclaimer out here. And so a dermatologist, because it's a steroid, would be like, you know, not near the eyes, not near the I'm gonna be like, if I'm talking to my good girlfriend, I'm gonna be like, Erica, put some hydrocortisone right on that bump.
Because that's exactly what I did.
And take that inflammation out. And then when the inflammation goes down, stop using it because it is a steroid, and then try to avoid your eyes, you know, with it. Wash your hands real good.
Okay, so that's some unofficial.
Yes. Y'all don't come for me when I am a makeup artist, not a dermatologist.
But it worked. Okay. But it did work.
But it worked.
I used it. Okay. Let me just ask you a quick question about application. What do you think is the number one thing that people are usually applying wrong?
Not wrong necessarily. Okay. But lots of people do not have a good foundation match because, you know, we get into this like, well, I found this online and I'm doing that. Now, there are a lot of companies that you can match online, but there's nothing like going into a counter, even if you don't do it all the time, but at least initially, or hiring a makeup artist to match your foundation properly, because there are so many out there. I mean, the shade ranges, which is really awesome. The shade ranges these days, it's very inclusive, which is really great. But in that, there's a lot of options. Most people wear their foundation too light, if I'm being very honest, or too orange or too something to where it oxidizes. So that's the number one thing. You really want to make sure that your base is like pretty spot on. And just because you wear some things, especially in our climates where you get seasonal differences, right? My winter color and my summer color are completely different.
Yeah.
But because typically like shelf life on a foundation product is pretty long, you're gonna
make it work.
You're gonna make it work. But you'll know when your winter color is no longer working in the summer and you show up with like gray foundation on and you just looking ashy for no reason.
Yeah, I had that moment a couple of weeks ago when I realized I still have my summer makeup, and I'm like, this is so dark for my skin.
Yes.
It doesn't
fade. The skin changes. The skin changes, and you can't just say like, well, I bought it, so I'm going to use it. You bought it, so keep it to the side until that part of the year next year when you are that. Mm-hmm. You definitely want to match your foundation to what you are on the day that you're wearing it.
Is there a difference between store brand and high end in makeup? And look, do what you can afford, right? This is not about shaming anybody on their makeup, but I often wonder, especially when it comes to things like mascara, if there's really a difference between the $20 mascara and the $40 mascara.
Sure. I love this question because I am such a product junkie. I like the drugstore stuff, and not all the drugstore stuff is cheap, by the way. And I really like the high-end stuff. So it is personal preference. Now, in my professional kit, people are paying me for a high-end service. I am providing high-end makeup. The only caveat to that is if there's a specific product that just happens to cost $6 that I think is superior to anything high-end, then I will use it. But there is a difference in, if we're getting technical in like lab formation, there is a bona fide difference between how many ingredients are in and the kinds of ingredients. How hard is it to source the products that go into a higher end product versus a lower end product? Is it an indie brand, or is it owned by a big makeup conglomerate that owns their own laboratory? Is it packaging? Listen, Maybelline Great Lash still makes a damn fine mascara. It is so freaking awesome.
I think it's the top selling.
It still is
mascara out there, right?
Still is. And
now 30 years running or something. Yeah.
And now there are different like versions of Maybelline Great Lash with different brushes and different colors and that kind of thing. And it's still friggin' awesome. But there is something about when, somebody really loves like a Chanel or a Dior or a Bobbi Brown, mascara. There is something about the luxury of when you open your fresh tube of mascara and how you apply it. I happen to really be into Thrive Cosmetics mascara, their lash extensions right now. But mascara is one of those things I'm always looking for the latest and greatest. But there are some excellent dupes right now. And sometimes some of the luxury brands will like do away with a certain product or reformulate or something like that. And then it's really, really good to know the dupe or the duplicate, if you will. One of the things I love is like when I'm working with my different clients, I might have a client that has a little bit more disposable income that they said, well, I want to buy luxury makeup this time. And so if we could stay within this luxury price point. Some people are like, I'm really into clean beauty right now, so everything needs to be within there. Some people are like, I need to know the dupe because this is my budget. And so working with that. But I'm also honest, like for me, it's always spend your resources on what's laying on the skin. Yeah. And then if you need to pull back in something that's a little bit more inexpensive, then you could do it in a lipstick or in a mascara or something like that. But it's really just sort of like picking our place where we want to spend the money. And then the other room to play. Invariably, though, because we're ladies and we like stuff, we will start buying up all the drugstore stuff. And then you look up and you look at your bill and you're like, how did I just...
And then it's not that inexpensive anymore, right? Nah. When you start stocking up. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's helpful. Thank you for sharing that. And then one more question on just technical question. Okay. You mentioned the number one mistake is in the color. When we're in artificial lighting, should we stick to the color of our skin as a reference point, or should we skew lighter or darker to accommodate the lighting?
The minute you get into that, you will have messed it completely up. Stick to what your skin color is in natural light.
In natural light.
Even if you need to just like go towards a window, or even step outside to just make sure with your mirror, make sure that you have like a good match. And a good match means that it's even all the way down from, the whole face. For women of color, we tend to be darker or deeper in our perimeter and lighter on the inside. But if you notice, and this is not across the board, but typical, if you notice on the inside here where the cheek area is and the chest, we tend to be the same color. But for all of us, men, women, any person, you want to make sure that everything is very even. Your skin's even all the way down. And that means from your forehead down to the chest area, so you don't end up looking like a bobblehead. I've taken a picture before and been like, whoa, I don't have good friends. They did not tell me my foundation was too light. And now I've got that like foundation ring. So yeah. Go towards the natural light.
I know that you do one-on-one consultations, right? You've talked about that here and you've told me before. We're going to just do one right now, a quick one. Just take a couple minutes. Tell me what I should do. Should I just share with you what I use every day? What do you want me to do? Okay.
Yeah. Walk me through your basic makeup routine. Tell me what that is. what you do, what you use, and not like 100 products, but like your basic routine.
Okay, I have those ready. So
Okay,
we're going to
awesome.
do a mini one-on-one consultation.
Yeah, mini
Okay.
one-on-one.
So the first thing I start with is the Kosas concealer
Awesome.
/ highlighter, which I think is the wrong color now for me. But I use this under my eyes, and I
Okay.
usually use it to lighten different. I do use it as a concealer, but I use it
Okay.
on. I use it under my eyes. Then
Okay.
I use an eyeliner,
Okay.
a Kat Von something.
Kat Von D. Yes.
Yes, I'm a Sephora girl, so I get my
Okay.
stuff from Sephora. Then I
Awesome.
use a Lancome mascara,
Okay.
black, like a dark black. I use a brow pencil.
Perfect.
This is Benefit brow pencil, which I really like.
Yeah, they have a beautiful brow product.
And then I use the Anastasia bronzer.
Awesome. Okay.
And I think this is too dark for my skin now.
Okay.
This is the color. It is. I think
We're going to work with it.
I think it's probably. And then I have I use a brush.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So
I love it.
That's what I use. That's what I put on. That's my routine every day. And it really doesn't matter if I'm going to the grocery store, working, or going to an event. This is pretty much all. This is it.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Grab your brow pencil for me.
Okay.
When you do your brows, where do you start?
I usually start here. I have a makeup. Are we going to do brows? So I'll just
let's do it.
I'll take my brow makeup off real quick.
Since Erica took her brow off, I'll take mine off too. Do you see this?
Oh.
This is why brows matter.
Yeah.
I got nothing going on. So this is the place when I'm just running to the grocery store. I look like I have the flu. People are like, oh, baby, are you feeling okay? I'm like, yeah, I just don't have any brows on. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Okay.
All right.
So with the brow, I always tell people go for where the hole is. Where's the first hole you see?
All right. Hold on like this.
And the hole is wherever it's just a little bit thin.
All right. I usually do like right here
Yeah.
first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
It's hard for me to see. Let me use my phone. All right,
Start
so
where you see the hole.
Okay. So here.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Good. Then what do you do?
Then I usually do the outline
Good. Good.
of my brow.
Now,
I think you taught me this.
Yes, I did. And so you're such a good student so here's what, like if a person has, and I'm going to catch up to where you are because I have to make my outline. And so what we want to do is exactly what you did was you went straight for where your hole was. Now, one common mistake is after we correct one thing, we go right back to that position and start filling in some more, which is how we end up with Angry Birds. And so we want to create our outline.
Yeah, and I remember my bottom brows, okay, but my top.
It's the top.
Where you filled it in.
And that's where you start opening up. So even right here, if you can see, I've created an outline and now I'm just going to fill it in. And so it's exactly what you did. Perfect. And I love those short strokes. And a good brow pencil is really, really easy to manipulate if it's a good one. If it is ever like too hard, then you need a different brow pencil. You need another one.
I need a better mirror.
It should go on smooth so it doesn't like over pull the skin.
Okay. And it always
Nice.
helps to have a nice,
good,
clean brow.
Yeah, because you can make anything work. And it's really, and then you want to just sort of, elongate the tail. People are like, well, where do I stop? I often will lay down my brow pencil right at the base of my under, and that's kind of where the tail stops.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I should go down further. Brows, I should go down further.
A tiny bit.
Okay.
A tiny bit. The good rule for brows is that, right there. Okay. Good. Good rule for brows is that it's deep. You want it darker on the outer than it is on the inner because that opens up and creates the frame in the face.
Okay.
But you see by having
this part.
Yep. And your spoolie, your brush on the other side, and just kind of brush it, and that just makes it hair-like.
Okay.
That's it. So you just proved yes, a lesson, right? But also having the right product for you should never be hard to use. It just works.
Yeah.
And if you mess it up, it'll be very apparent right away that you're like, oh, it got a little lower for me, so I can just, kind of take and, but you don't have to like the minute you have to work too hard to like overcorrect, you've got the wrong color in anything.
Yeah, or it sounds like even the wrong product. The application
wrong product
just doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
I love this one. This one's really easy.
It's
use.
So easy. It's so easy.
Part.
The other thing, let's take your concealer. Okay. So right away, I always start with the brow because then it just provides me my frame. I like to make a triangle. So some people, and I'll show you what I mean. Some people are going to lay down concealer here, and then they're going to lay it down here, and then they can blend. You can absolutely do that. I like to make a triangle, and my triangle comes from the inner bridge of my nose down in a triangle. You're literally making a triangle, and then over the cheekbone just a little bit, and back and up. Okay. Then you're going to fill in a little bit. What do you fill in what do you blend your concealer with?
I use a sponge.
Perfect. Okay. Some people use a sponge. My favorite brush of all time is this guy.
Oh, you use a brush.
It's the Real Technique setting brush. I think when they first made it, they meant it perhaps to be like a setting powder brush, but a lot of people use a sponge as well.
Like this so it's kind really of brush? Great. Is this similar?
No. So that's a flat brush. This is like a fluffy kind of guy. It makes everything like look airbrushed. The other thing that you can do is use your ring finger to blend, or your sponge. Okay. So it kind of is whatever.
So you do. All right. So this is before.
So you can lay it down.
I didn't wipe it down here, so you can see it covered.
Yeah.
It does cover.
So you want to lay it down. Just draw it. So straight line down. Okay. Straight line up, and then fill in your triangle. Okay.
Up like this.
So I love stopping people on this part. Do you see that you followed your divot in a circle and yours doesn't look like a triangle? I want you to make an angular.
So a straighter
triangle.
Line.
Yeah, there's a method. Okay. It's going to look, like, what the heck? Okay. And you're going to be like, oh my God, is this too much? Lay it down. Like there you go. And come up. Come up. There you go. Yeah.
That far?
Yeah, babe. And we call it triangle of light. Okay, so you then fill in a little bit. Fill it in. Not with more product.
No.
Not with more product.
With my sponge. Okay.
Yep, and just fill it in. You got it. And just come on across. You can always grab more if you need it. Yes.
Ooh.
Keep going. And then you want it to disappear back into the hairline.
Okay, so I'm brushing it I'm keep going.
Yeah. With makeup, we want it to be seamless, right? So like, where do the lines end? So that's another reason too why I have people come over their cheekbone. Oh. See, okay, stop right there. This is magic.
Yes, I can see it. Magic. I see the difference.
Do you see how much more open your eye looks
than
the other side? And it's because we're basically using concealer to diffuse light and trick the eye.
That's incredible.
Baby, this works every time. It does. It works.
So I only put it on. I always only put it on right here.
Everybody does. So remember what we said, concealers highlight everything they touch. So if you only have it touch the divot, it's going to highlight the divot. Right. You got to come past the divot. Yes. And then when you need more, you can always just apply more.
Amazing.
This is like one of my great I love this tip. I love this tip. And even on me, like I had, let me come back a little bit. I had a little bit of concealer, but now I just put on another layer.
Yes.
This eye is looking like, now obviously my eye did not grow inside of 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, but there's a clear difference between each eye.
Difference. And I have not changed my eyeliner. I have not changed my eyeshadow. I've not changed anything else but where I put the concealer.
This is
I basically created an effect to the skin.
This is the tip. Yes. Okay.
It is amazing. So why I like to do, so this is another thing too. Like if you do this with your own makeup, it will keep, if you're on a photo shoot, it will keep other photographers and the cameras and whatever from over filtering you because it's actually you. You already did the work. Your product did the work. So now let's make you match on the other side so you don't look crazy.
Okay. All right. I think.
Tell me, what are you going to say? Or you want to just do one side at a time? Or one side for the effect?
Well, let's do one side for the effect.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay,
Yeah.
now, you remember you mentioned...
Because I have makeup on this side. Yeah. I don't think I took it off.
Perfect.
I think I might have taken off a little bit of the brow, but that's it.
Okay, but that's it. Okay, yeah. I love this. Okay, great. Let's grab your bronzer, because you mentioned it might be a little too dark.
Yeah.
There is this, like, everybody's like into contouring and like da-da-da-da-da. Contouring is absolutely a thing, but we have always been contouring. Now people are like just creating these like really cool like effects on YouTube and all the things where they're doing like dots and chiseling and nose.
I've seen that.
Most people are not going to just be doing that all the time unless they're just really into it. Okay. So grab your bronzer, but contouring and putting on bronzer is about, again, putting dimension back in the skin. So a good rule of thumb, okay, and before I add product, a good rule of thumb for where to apply bronzer is dust it back on the cheek, then make a 3 on the face. Okay? So watch me first.
Okay.
So I just grabbed my bronzer, and you can apply it lightly. You can do a lot. You can blend any makeup down with your sponge or whatever if you get it too heavy. Okay? So back on the cheek. Okay? So that's the side view. Let me let you see what it looks like from the front. Make a 3 on the face. So it's where the sun naturally hits the face. Some of us that are lighter in our neck because the chin is a natural sun visor, we then might need to take a little bit of bronzer in the neck area. If you have a high collared shirt on or a white shirt or turtleneck, you don't need to do that. But
okay,
you have contoured your face in a very quick way. Okay, so let's go on the side. Good. So dust and don't overthink it. Yeah, exactly. Go for it. Even if you feel like, oh, I got too much, don't worry about it. Dust it back.
Is that enough?
Yeah, it's looking good. Now,
and then
make a 3 on the face. Boom.
So I need to reapply? Okay. Do you see
good.
That?
Yeah. Good. Okay. So look at the difference in the face. Now, the one thing I would say is you can see a clear line of demarcation here. So you want to take, without getting more product, you want to take that brush and just kind of swirl it and blend a bit. Because now you've laid it down in the line where you want it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. Now so it's already blending, right? Blending is good. Now grab your sponge for me.
Okay. And
then just kind of bridge the gap and make those two marry each other. Yeah. Good. 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 Yes. Okay. Now get out of there. Get out of there.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Good.
Yeah,
so see what you just did?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to overblend, but what you're doing is marrying the two. So it's not like, and then if you're like, ooh, I overdid it, then without getting more product,
I just got more.
Blend a bit. Because you can always add more, right? Yeah, but we can see
you can see the difference.
What that did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Now grab your mascara.
It's like a totally different face. Yeah.
It's just more lifted, but you still look like you.
Yeah, it's not totally different face. That's an over-exaggeration, but it's definitely a more polished.
Yeah, it's just more polished. That's it, right? So it's like, and it's one of those things, until you see the side by side, you're not real sure, like, what's different.
I can see it, and this side looks tired. Now, in your defense, before you started adjusting the one side, when it was all the same, you did not look tired. Yeah. You looked normal. But this is just, how do we then elevate? That's it. Okay, so now I'm taking my...
Put your mascara on. And I like 2 coats of mascara. All right. So, you've already made my point, which I love. Okay, look in the mirror.
I can see it.
Yeah. So, this is why I like to do just a quick tutorial like this. Because if you have time for only one thing, choose the mascara in the eyes. Mascara, because it is so dark at the base, it can also mimic the fact that you have on eyeliner. Mm-hmm. Eyeliner will just give you another, and it just opens the eye up because you've coated your whole lash. And so your lashes connect to the skin of the eyelid. So it creates a sort of thin layer of what we consider eyeliner. Just the very function of what it does. Mm-hmm. It makes such a huge impact. Then when you go on to then you can like add another effect with eyeliner. And that just becomes like, I like eyeliner, so I'm going to wear eyeliner. But if you have to choose one, you choose the mascara. And here's why.
I get it. I mean, my eye looks more open.
It just does.
Right? It looks more polished. And this was easy.
Yeah, easy. Concealer, bronzer, mascara, a little bit of brow. Now, if you really, like on the days when I'm like, all right, I don't have time for much, but I need to like make it, that's when I'm going to grab my red lipstick or any lipstick or a gloss or whatever. And I don't have much makeup on anywhere else.
Oh, that's a beautiful
So I'm
color.
going to just
I love that.
Throw it on. And again, I have not, this is me with glasses on, I have not changed anything else about my face. But I just said, oh my God, what do I have time for that I can grab real quick because I have a meeting? I threw that lipstick on.
Mm-hmm. Let's just say you look like, game face.
Game face, ready to go. Mm-hmm. And nobody really knows why. They're not going to be like, oh my God, like, what are you doing with your makeup? They're going to be like, oh, wow, your skin looks really great. What do you do? Because everything was in balance to the other thing. Now, I happened to grab a red lip and threw that on, but like you could grab a hot pink. You could do a deeper color if that's your zhuzh. You can just grab like, just a light pink. This is just a little, look at me, I'm a junkie. I've been shopping, clicking it up. And now I just added a little bit of shine to the situation.
Gorgeous. I love it.
Have fun. That's it. I mean, when I'm doing tips and tricks, like the tip and the trick is like, what's going to make the quickest impact? So for us, it was a little brow, a little concealer, but where we place the concealer, a little bronzer, and then and some mascara. And then from there, you could go out just like this and be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. Or and then you could start having fun. Because it's impactful.
So thank you, Rebecca. How can people get in touch with you?
We started to talk about how I'm co-owner of Elegance Artistry Group. We just entered our 14th year with my lovely partner, Sarah. She lives in Philadelphia. We have locations in Philly, Southwest Virginia, Chicago, and now Northeast Florida. I live in St. Augustine now. But you can find me at eleganceartistry.com or at Elegance Artistry Group on all the socials. So, when you look good, you feel good, you do good. So.
Yeah, when you look good, you feel good. This is all about confidence and showing up your best and feeling good.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. You are the best. Get to know Rebecca. Go find her. I'm going to put all of her information in the show notes. You can go to workitremote.com to get the show notes and to find more about Rebecca. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.